We're going to kick the show off with Rebekah Stark Johnson here with the Hattiesburg Arts Council.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing just great.
And you're an old friend to the show. It's really good to see you again.
It's so good to see you too.
Okay, well, tell me about the upcoming event the Hattiesburg Arts Council has going on.
Well, on September 28th, which is a Sunday at 4 o'clock, we will be having a program that is a tribute to Brian Blair, who is a pianist and entertainer here in Hattiesburg. And at the Cultural Center, we were given a piano that is actually Brian's piano that was purchased from Jennifer Kennard and Sarah Crosby McKay. And they donated it to the Arts Council, and we've decided to kick off a wonderful tribute to Brian Blair.
Okay, well, tell me about Brian Blair.
Well, it's a sad story, but it's not so sad, especially after we have our show and we get to feature the most favorite part of his life, which is music. Mm-hmm. And in 2008, Brian Blair was diagnosed with it's called superficial hemosiderosis, which is a slow leak in his brain, and that creates iron deposits that have now affected his memory, his balance, and his hearing, unfortunately. And since this started when he was probably about 45, and he's now been placed in nursing homes throughout Hattiesburg and is currently at the Bedford home over here at Medical Boulevard. And he's been able to play quite a bit at the nursing homes, but recently it's just been less and less. Mm-hmm. So, but he's his talent is so remembered here, and his joy for life, his true gentleman, loved pageantry, had great style. He could play for any age group. He could play for a child's birthday party, and they could be howling and singing "How Much Is That Doggy in the Window," or and then he could turn around and play a 1920s or 30s tune and bring people either to tears or just singing with pure joy.
Very exciting. Well, you were telling me a bit about his parents, his father and his grandfather, and the impact that they've made in the city. Tell me more about that.
That's right. Well, there's several buildings that have been built by his father, who was an architect, Stephen Blair, and his grandfather, also Stephen Blair, was the superintendent of the Hattiesburg Public Schools. In fact, Hattiesburg High School is named Blair High School after his father. In fact, I just received a call from a 93-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. Her name is Louisa Williams, mm-hmm. and she was the secretary for his grandfather at the high school. And she is actually going to come to just see Brian. She adores him, yes. That's a pretty big effort on her part, I know.
I know. It's a pretty big legacy Brian has, Mr. Blair. And he sounds very interesting person. It's easy to see why you would pick such an incredible talent out of anyone that you guys could have paid tribute to at the Arts Council.
Thank you.
So you were telling me earlier about the performance and maybe an appearance from a certain Miss Mississippi.
Yes, we're hoping. We'll find out tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get to see Jasmine Murray. Brian was very much involved in pageantry, mm-hmm. and he would have been at Atlantic City, no doubt. He mm-hmm. would go every year. And he would help prepare the girls for the pageants. And so if she were to be able to appear there, it will be amazing. In fact, Brian Blair will be coming to the event. And, I mean, I'll knock on wood. I pray that he will be mm-hmm. able to make it. But we have a plan for him to be there. We have some fabulous performers. You want me to tell you a little bit about them?
Of course.
Well, we have Connie Roberts mm-hmm. and Brenda Parker. I'm sure you've met her through Stage Struck. Rosemary Collins and her husband Stan Collins will be mm-hmm. coming in from Florida. He's a longtime friend and pianist of Brian, so he will be playing on the piano. Larry Pinella from the university in the jazz department. He's playing his saxophone. And I'm actually going to play the cello, which is my profession, mm-hmm. and I'm looking forward to that. Mildred Hong, who is a great star here in Hattiesburg, Dean Belay, and he has been a fabulous help putting this program together. Also, Marianne Kyle, who's a university professor, and John Wooten, who's a percussionist here.
John Wooten, friend to the
Yes,
show.
and the great master of all jazz is Raoul Jerome is going to be included with electric bass playing with all the different singers. So it's a great lineup, and I wish we could have included everyone that performed with Brian. But I would like to say that there are a lot of performers who have worked with Brian over the years for especially his cancer benefits that he had here. And we would like to include them for the finale, the final two numbers, and kind of a flash mob style, and come and sing around Brian. And on Saturday, the 27th at 1 o'clock at the Cultural Center, we will be having a rehearsal for that. It's a short rehearsal, so if they want to come at 1 o'clock, and they can be joining in on the final two numbers.
It's so cool. And what a big deal this is.
It is.
He was you were telling me earlier how he always would do things in recognition of cancer awareness and things for the Heart Association. And it's just he sounds like a very compassionate, selfless person. So definitely a great thing for you guys to be paying tribute to him. You were telling me about this fund that you all are going to develop post the event. So.
Well, because we were given this wonderful gift, this piano, Jennifer and Kennard and Sarah Crosby would really like to see the legend that Brian has brought here, and we'd like to keep it going, and especially the musical talents. We want to do more performances using that piano, and we're going to have a Brian Blair tribute fund to not only use for performances, but if there's special talent, and especially maybe in a pageantry or piano lessons, things like that, maybe we can be of some help. It's going to be really nice to have this fund, because I think we can pull off some amazing programs and bring in some talents to Hattiesburg. One of the things that I wanted to mention, too, for this concert, we're asking people to wear Brian's favorite colors, which is black and white, of course, from the keys of the piano, and red or silver. And so we're going to just go all out, glamour and glitz, and just have a great time. It's a cabaret and cocktail performance, really. So there's a lot of I don't know, just an interesting style, especially 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s music. It's going to be fun.
Sounds fun. Well, tell us again about that date and time and location.
The location is the Hattiesburg Cultural Center, which used to be the old library next to the Federal Building in downtown. And the performance is Sunday, September 28th, and it begins at 4 p.m., and we look forward to having you come.